And the headline is How Your Gut Health Influences Your Daily Life. And we invited longevity dietitian and gut health expert Ella DeVar to weigh in.
Ella, thank you so much for sticking around.
I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, great to have you. So my first question is, we're hearing all about this gut microbiome thing. Can you tell me in simple terms like what that actually is?
Gut microbiome is everything that is inside your gut, and it contains trillions of microorganisms, specifically bacteria, fungi, viruses, and yeast that makes up a total flora inside of. We also call it inner garden because we have the ability to affect it with the foods that we eat, the way we feel. It also affects us.
Yeah, and so when we hear about like this, the gut being the second brain, that
Yes.
really is the real deal.
Yes, because our gut contains over 5 times as many neurons as our spinal cord. And this gut-brain axis between our brain and our gut is the communication between those two incredible organs, and that's why they call it the second brain. And that communication is actually at its best when we activate the vagus nerve. Have you guys heard of vagus nerve?
I have heard of the vagus nerve
yeah.
before, yeah.
And here's this simple and easy hack. How to improve your vagus nerve functioning is to stimulate it with breath work.
Okay.
And it's my easy exercise for the people that if you want to improve your gut health, take 3 deep breaths before eating each meal. And that alone can stimulate your vagus nerve, which when you take the deep breaths, it sends the signal to your brain that it's safe for you to rest and digest, to activate the parasympathetic nervous system responsible for digestion.
I did not realize there was a breathing technique before
Yeah,
you
that's
eat.
super interesting.
It's gonna look weird when we're the Bloom team's all out of dinner. We're everybody breathe in
You
and
okay?
out. Yeah.
You guys seen people taking a little prayer before
Yes,
they eat?
yes.
That's taking it a little advanced, but what I tell my clients is if you want to improve your enzymatic sufficiency and bile secretion, it's your responsibility to help your body to do that, to stimulate the vagus nerve with deep breath work and focusing on long exhales. Just 3 breaths. That's all it takes
All right.
to improve your
Wow,
digestion.
like that.
Very interesting. So kind of on that note, like this, we talked a lot in the article about like the mind-gut like connection. Can you talk to me about how like our gut health can like influence our mood? Like, 'cause I
Yes.
know when I feel my best, like I feel good when my stomach isn't full, like I'm like empty. So is there something to that?
Well, our gut microbiome is responsible for 95% of serotonin production. And serotonin is the neurotransmitter, I'm sure you guys heard of, responsible for good mood, for the feel good, and also the dopamine, another neurotransmitter responsible for pleasure. And because it's originated from our gut, that's where it all comes from. And the science shows that people who struggle with depression and anxiety, they have low levels of serotonin, and very often they also have associated symptoms of IBS and abdominal cramps.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting, and you and I talked about this a little bit earlier, but you test your patients individually to know
Yes.
exactly what you're dealing with, because a lot of people, they're basically just shooting in the dark.
Yes, the general recommendations are great. You know, consume high fiber diet, healthy fats, and avoid inflammatory foods. But very often I work with clients that are very educated, but they're busy with their lifestyles, demanding deadlines and responsibilities, and they still feel some of the symptoms such as fatigue, low energy, or anxiety. And when they come to me, I really, my job is to help them. And what we do is we do the stool test to analyze for 5 different factors or functionalities of your gut health.
Interesting.
Brody, we're going to be talking a lot about that on a podcast
Yeah.
soon. Yeah.
I can't wait to talk all about it.
I feel like you can wait. But
right.
anyways, go ahead.
Weight. Obviously, weight management is a big part of the reason we want to take care of our gut, and I think a lot of our audience wants to know about that too. Like, what role does that have in weight management?
Yeah, so there are different bacteria in our gut, and what we found that some people who are very skinny and unable to gain weight, they have overgrowth of one specific bacteria, and now there's so much scientific evidence of how that could help other people to lose weight. And people who are overweight and unable to lose weight, very often they have an overgrowth of bad bacteria, which thrives on stress or sugar or low fiber diet. So with that, there's really a lot of evidence how improving our gut microbiome and adding some high fiber foods can help our body to grow gut healthy bacteria, which helps our hormone secretions and absorption of our foods, and therefore improves our overall metabolic health.
We only have a minute left, but I wanted to ask you, you hear a lot of testing about parasites, which is also something, is that really a common thing?
It's actually not.
Okay, all right, thanks for the news.
Yes,
I was like, whew.
because a lot of people are guessing and they're just talking about it. What I do, I test and I see the results of people. Very often when I have all the models coming in and they think they have parasites, they don't. But then sometimes people who have a lot of skin issues, specifically eczema or stubborn acne or skin rashes, that's when I really see parasites. And actually the truth is I diagnosed myself with parasites one time.
Really?
A few years ago, yes, and that's what really got me into this.
That's interesting.